5 minutes news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at Renaissance Communications Incorporated. It is Wednesday, October 25, and I'm John Patoma presenting. First, the headlines. Liberia People's Party of Councillor Tawan Gangulu endorses opposition Unity Party's candidate Joseph Boaka in the November 14 presidential runoff as Grand Bassa County Senator-elect Besonga Fini turns to incumbent President George Weah. And pressure mounts the National Elections Commission to explain why it sets November 14 as the date for the presidential runoff instead of the constitutional stipulated date of November 7. Mother of a stolen 1-month-old baby cries for help wants the Liberian National Police to assist her on the baby. Away from Liberia, hundreds of thousands of women and girls have been displaced over the past years in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, amid fighting by more than 130 armed groups, according to AfricanNews.com. These plus many more, the voices of the newsmaker are all lined up here on today's edition of the program news. That we'll take a break to be right back. With the news bulletin. Good evening, Henson.
Good evening, Johnson. Good evening to President George Weah wants Liberians to continue to sustain the peace of the nation while solidifying the democracy the country is enjoying. According to President Weah, during the period of campaigning for the first round of the elections, there were instances of violence which led to the loss of lives and the destruction of properties. He said the violence in Lofa County and the Somara Draft in Monrovia demonstrate that more needs to be done with national reconciliation and healing. At the same time, President George Weah has vowed to complete ongoing road construction projects when re-elected. He told his partisans that the CDC-led government intends to fulfill the pledge of ensuring that the country's capital is connected to every county through paved roads. The Liberian leader also promised to grow Liberia's economy in order to provide more jobs for Liberians, including creating jobs in the small and medium enterprises and in key sectors like agriculture and manufacturing. He stressed that his government will expand the capacity of the Liberia Electricity Corporation to reach more homes while enhancing industrialization and the creation of jobs. He spoke Wednesday at the headquarters of the Coalition for Democratic Change when he encouraged his supporters to support his re-election bid. Election Coordinating Committee Chairman Oscar Blood has called on the National Elections Commission to explain for the reason why the commission set November 14 as the date for the presidential runoff. Article 83B of the 1986 Constitution states that if no candidate obtains an absolute majority in the first ballot, a second ballot shall be conducted on the second Tuesday. Blood, speaking on State of the Nation Wednesday, said none of the candidates is prepared to file a complaint as stated in Article 83C, and such the Commission should have conducted the election on November 7, 2023. Blood said though the date has already been set up by the National Elections Commission, the ECC is following the process to see whether a complaint will come from any of the presidential candidates. The Liberia People's Party of Councillor Tawan Gangulu has endorsed the opposition Unity Party in the pending runoff election. According to executives of the LPP, the decision came after weeks of consultations with partisans and sympathizers home and abroad. Speaking at a news conference Wednesday, the chairman of LPP, Yankwezise, said after a careful examination of the two partisans in the run, that's the two parties in the runoff, the LPP has come to the realization that they share similar vision with the Unity Party. At the same time, Zise noted that the party has chosen the Unity Party based on several conditions to be implemented in the first 100 days of his administration. He, among other things, named taking steps to improve the rule of law through strengthening the law enforcement and the independence of the judiciary. Others demands made by the LPP are publishing access declaration of all government officials along with their salaries and benefits, increase the salaries of civil servants in the country, among others. This is a failure of the United Party to meet these expectations of the party in its 100 days deliverable would leave the party with no alternative but to criticize the regime. Meanwhile, Grand Bassa County's Senator-elect Wesson Afeni has endorsed incumbent President George Weah ahead of the November 14th presidential runoff. The former foreign minister said his decision followed consultations with several citizens of Bassa who urged him to support Weah's re-election bid. Senator-elect Finley further noted that President Weah has carried out massive developments in Grand Bassa and that his re-election will ensure the county will benefit more developments. President Weah told traditional leaders during a campaign rally in Grand Bassa County that he would have fought Finley for the central seat. The CDC eventually put former Superintendent John Babwe against him during the election, but Finley emerged victorious during the election. A 1-month-old baby has reportedly been stolen in Dwasson New Vision community on the Ravensfield Highway. The mother of the child, Cynthia Vincent, and her fiancé, Robert White, told us news that their baby was allegedly stolen by a woman identified as Tony Moba. Tony Moba is currently in police custody at the Dwasson station, facing investigation. Cynthia Vincent further narrated that suspect Tony Moba, who regularly called to check on the child, visited her house on Wednesday, October 25, 2023, but was later seen coming from the bush colony. She went to a teenager. According to her fiancé, Robert White, the situation has caused him to grieve and is pleading with the Liberian National Police to assist them locate their little child. Opposition collaborating political parties is calling on the National Elections Commission to keep the ballot papers from the October elections for a forensic examination. According to CPP standard bearer Alexander Cummings, this is part of his promise to investigate the process amid outstanding and exposing some irregularities in the October 10, 2022 presidential and legislative elections. The CPP political leader lamented that the investigation is important as means of protecting and preserving the integrity of the elections and the democracy of the country. Comments revealed that two presidential candidates have agreed to join the process for the betterment of the country. Alexander Cummings disclosed that the party has also set up a committee comprising 5 persons, which will be headed by Councillor Charlene Bronskin to engage in meaningful discussions with the two parties in the run-off to inform the party's final decision as to who to support. At the same time, Alexander Cummings has pointed out several demands that are expected to be put forth for discussions to the parties in the run of elections. He named commitment to gender equality, the establishment of a national youth service program providing loans and business development for Liberians, supporting programs for Liberian entrepreneurs, among others. The third flood of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning was on Wednesday, October 25, 2023, gutted by fire, but no injuries have been reported. The ministry, in a statement, said central government financial records were not affected by the fire outbreak. The Finance Ministry's release further noted that the National Fire Service has collected relevant information and is investigating the cause of the fire. The release further quoted the Finance Ministry as thanking the National Fire Service for its intervention and has announced that normal operation has begun. Criminal Court A has issued a writ of subpoena on the chairperson of the Liberia Medical and Dental Council to testify in the ongoing murder trial involving former Chief Justice and three others. Dr. Benetta Andrews, according to RCI judicial correspondent, is to appear before the court Thursday, October 26, to provide evidence to the process as it relates to the issuance of a death certificate for the late Charlotte Musu. Our judicial correspondent further revealed that the court's October 25, 2023 writ comes as a result of a submission made on Monday by prosecuting lawyers doing arguments concerning the body of the late Charlotte Musu. Charlotte Musu was allegedly murdered at the home of defendant Scott in February of this year. Still at the judiciary, the 11th Judicial Circuit Court in Bombing County has ordered the arrest of a British national Hans Armstrong for criminal contempt. Judge Siafa Kiri's October 25, 2023 arrest order, according to RCI judicial correspondent, also mandated all security apparatus, including the police, to arrest the living body of defendant Hans Armstrong, even on holiday or non-working hours, to be detained at any nearby police station. Judge Kerry's action was triggered by defendant Armstrong's alleged refusal to appear before the court weeks ago after he was held for contempt. The National Christian Council of Liberia is calling on all Liberians to maintain the peace and put the interests of Liberia above political parties or presidential candidates. The council, through its acting president John Bolo, further reminded Liberians about the civil conflict which destroyed the nation and left thousands dead. The National Christian Council of Liberia has meanwhile announced a 3-day fast prayer for God intervention in direction during the presidential runoff. And in foreign news, hundreds of thousands of women and girls have been displaced over the past year in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they're fighting by more than 130 armed groups. As June armed conflicts continue to spread, instances of sexual violence by armed men against displaced women, many living in camps, are climbing rapidly, according to French aid group Médecins Sans Frontières or Doctors Without Borders. MSF says more than twice as many women in recent months have sought treatment for sexual assault in some displacement camps outside the eastern city of Goma, where shelters are little more than plastic sheets. One survivor of sexual violence is a 42-year-old mother of 4 who was abandoned by her husband after she became disabled in a motorcycle accident several years ago. The United Nations estimates that more than 130 armed groups are active in the country's northeast, each vying for land or resources, while some have formed to protect their communities. More than 4 million people were displaced within Congo because of conflict in 2022, the most in Africa and second in the world, wounded to Ukraine, according to the Internal Displacement Monitoring Center, where Johnson does the news bulletin. The foreign development is back to you.
Many thanks to Hasin Decker for news bulletin. The news bulletin is a regular feature here on the program News Decks. If you're just joining us in one of our developments here on the program News Decks, pressure mounts on the National Elections Commission to explain why it's set November 14 as the date for the presidential runoff instead of the constitutional stipulated date of November 7. Let's now bring you the actual voices of the newsmaker. The Liberia People's Party of Councillor Tawan has endorsed the opposition Unity Party in the pending runoff elections. According to executives of the LPP, the decision came after weeks of consultations with partisans and sympathizers home and abroad. Speaking at the press conference Wednesday, the chairman of LPP, a party that Nakwed Zeze said, after a careful examination of the two parties in the runoff, the LPP had come to the realization that it shares similar vision with the Unity Party.
We hereby notice the party that we are declaring support for today, that upon its failure to meet these expectations, we will be the first to condemn and criticize them. Let me repeat, that upon its the first to condemn and criticize them. It was difficult to reach this decision because we ran on a campaign based on a platform for the transformation of Liberia into a better country. Our platform was summarized into what we refer to as 10-point agenda for a better Liberia. Among other things, the 10-point agenda for a better Liberia calls for strengthening the rule of law, combating corruption, beginning with publication of assets and salaries of government officials, conducting quarterly lifestyle audits, dismissing and prosecuting those found to be corrupt, taking bold and measurable steps to provide free, compulsory, and quality education to Liberian children from kindergarten to 12th grade, eliminating adult illiteracy and providing technical and vocational education to high school dropouts and graduates in order to prepare them for employment. Our platform also provides for improving our health sector and making all government hospitals and clinics freely accessible to pregnant women, children under the age of 5, and all Liberians at age 65 years and above, mechanizing breast production throughout Liberia and establishing public work stations in the 15 counties to keep the highways and farm-to-market roads maintained throughout the year. Why? Gradually paving them as well as giving tax incentives to investors for companies that locate their factories 50 miles away from Monrovia. Our determination as a party to transform Liberia is symbolized by the broom, the symbol of the Liberian People's Party, LPP. However, we were told by the Liberian people that our platform and our presidential candidates were good, but this is not our time. Wait for 2029. They repeat that everywhere we went, whatever it's like, it was in Liberia, outside Liberia. That's what we were told. You are good, but wait for 2029. We are choosing one of the parties based on our expectation that the party that we choose to support will do the following in the first 100 days of its administration. 1. Take measurable steps to improve the rule of law through strengthening the law enforcement, and the independence of the judiciary. 2. Publish the asset declaration of all officials of government along with their salaries and benefits. 3. Increase the salaries of civil servants, including police officers, nurses, military and paramilitary, teachers, janitors, etc. 4. Begin quarterly lifestyle audits of officials of government in the executive branch. 5. Take steps towards the investigation of all section officials in government with the assistance of the U.S. government. 6. Take steps towards the establishment of a war and economic crimes code. 7. Increase the budget percentage to begin mechanized agriculture and increase percentage for education, agriculture, and has to be at least 15% each in the 2024 national budget, and to put public workstation in the 15 counties in order to improve the freedom of movement during the rainy.
At the same time, Nyakwazisi noted that the party has chosen the Unity Party based on several conditions to be implemented in the first 100 days of its administration. Among other things, he named taking steps to improve the rule of law through strengthening the law enforcement and the independence of the judiciary. All of the demands made by the LPP are publishing asset declaration of all government officials along with their salaries and benefits, increase the salary of civil servants in the country, among others.
We hereby notice the party that we are declaring support for today, that upon its failure to meet these expectations, we will be the first to condemn and criticize them. Let me repeat, that upon its failure to meet these expectations, consultations that we have conducted among our partisans and supporters at home and abroad, as well as our conviction that the party CDC in power placed Liberia in the special intensive care unit, we hereby declare our party will support the only opposition UP that was chosen by the Liberian people to compete with the ruling party CDC. We call on all our partisans to go out to campaign and vote for the Unity Party to ensure that the Unity Party wins this second round of the 2023 presidential election. LPP says government is the place to serve, not to scheme. LPP says a better Liberia is possible. The National Election Commission, NEC, announced on Tuesday, October 24, 2023, that no presidential candidate attained votes of 50% plus one, as required by the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Therefore, the NEC does not have the percentage of votes required to declare the winner of the presidential election. However, the results show that the Liberian electorate voted for two of the 20 presidential candidates.
He is the chairman of the Liberia People's Party of Council Tawan Conclu. He is now quite there within the party's position statement endorsing the opposition Unity Party. Grand Basso County Senator-elect Besonga Fini has endorsed in comment President George Weah ahead of the November 14 presidential of the former Foreign Affairs Minister said his decision for the consultation with several citizens of Grand Basso who urged him to support Weah's re-election bid.
The consultation that I completed in Grand Basso County, a majority of the citizens have asked me to support the CDC-led government by His Excellency President George Weah. I believe that my support for President Weah will be in the right direction of my platform, the commitment I've made to Basso to bring electricity to the Canyon City, to build the commitment we have made to people of Basso, to build and establish educational training institute for all of our young people at the district. It will be manifested if we elect President Weah for the second term. I believe that Basso will achieve its goal, that we, as your lawmakers, will come together after the second round and present our legislative agenda to President Weah. In conclusion, I once again appeal to all of the citizens, the wonderful citizens, the beautiful people of Basso, following and supporting the re-election of President Weah. I know and I have the conviction that we will work along with the people of Basso to bring development, bring growth, to address jobs, employment, the people of Grand Basso County. I ask God's blessing upon all of you as we prepare for the runoff elections, that we continue to be peaceful in this process. May God bless Basso, bless the nation.
Besonga Fini is former foreign minister and Grand Basso County Senator-elect. They're speaking to the people of Grand Basso County. Now this development, the opposition collaborating political parties is calling on the National Elections Commission to keep the ballot papers for the October elections for a forensic examination. According to CPP Standard Bearer Alexander Cummins, this is part of his promise to investigate the process aimed at understanding and exposing some irregularities in the October 10, 2023 presidential and legislative elections.
We therefore determined that the elections this year must reflect the true will of the Liberian people. It is with this spirit that we have written the National Elections Commission, NEC, asking that the ballot papers be preserved for forensic examination. This is a part of our promised investigation, understand and expose what actually happened on October 10th. It is important that we do this to protect and preserve the integrity of our elections and the health of our cherished democracy. And these two political parties, through their presidential candidates, have agreed to join us in this important undertaking. NEC's announced results point to the runoff between the ruling coalition for democratic change, the CDC, and the former ruling Unity Party, the UP, both of whom have records timing of the runoff already falls outside the constitutional guidelines for the electoral process. We have therefore set up a team of 5 persons to engage in meaningful discussions with the two parties going into the runoff to inform our final decision as to who to support. The CPP team is chaired by Costa Charlene Ambrosky, who is joined by a vice chair of the Democratic Party, 2 leaders of the Alternative National Congress, and the head of our campaign. These discussions are very, very important to us and to the Liberian people. We promised the Liberian people that we would work to change the system to benefit all Liberians, to change the system to benefit all Liberians. Although the announced results, which we are investigating, do not give us the power to directly drive the real change agenda, we know that without commitments to systemic change in how we have repeatedly govern ourselves, we will simply take musical chairs with leaders only to keep doing the same things over and over without any improvement to the lives of our people or how we should be managing ourselves. We refuse to be a partner in keeping our people poor, our nation divided, and our governance system corrupt. We refuse to be a partner in keeping our people poor, our nation divided, and our government system corrupt.
Additional comments is the opposition or the senior bearer of the opposition collaborating political parties. At the same time, additional comments has pointed out several demands that are expected to be put at the forefront of discussion for the parties in the runoff elections. He named commitment to gender equality, the establishment of a national youth service program, providing loans and business development for Liberians, supporting programs for Liberian entrepreneurs, among others.
Therefore, we have asked our team to place the following items on the agenda for discussion with the two parties in no particular order. They include, but may not be limited to, commitment to gender equality. We must prioritize the passage of the minimum 30% law for women participation and membership in the legislature. We must also seek the appointment of women to the cabinet with a view to achieving at least 20% inclusion of women in the cabinet. Commitment to establish a national youth service program to address improved social provision, empowerment, employability, and civic duties of our youth. Commitment to provide preferential loans and business development support programs to Liberian entrepreneurs, especially with focus on women and youth. Commitment to establish a war and economic crime support. We must end the culture of impunity in our country and seriously seek to reconcile and unite our people under the rule of law. Commitment to undertake the review of the Liberian Constitution with the view towards strengthening democratic governance and the unity of Liberians under the law. Commitment to judicial reform. We must improve access and accessibility to justice. Seek the review of pending litigation merely on procedural grounds. Establish claims court and take steps to improve and strengthen the independence of the judiciary as well as the capacity of investigatory agencies. Commitment to decentralized public administration. We will not sustainably develop Liberia until we ensure the provision of basic service delivery to Liberians across Liberia, Monrovia, and Liberia. Commitment to continuous audits with a view toward implementing recommendations therein, as well as strengthening of internal audit systems across ministries, agencies, and public institutions, enforcing the declaration of assets and auditing the legislation. Commitment to simplify the tax code and rules and regulations for establishing businesses to make it business friendly. We must make Liberia business friendly and accommodating to Liberian entrepreneurs.
Additional comments is the standard bearer of the opposition collaborating political parties. They're speaking at a press conference on Wednesday. If you are just joining us, please be informed that you are in tune to a 45-minute news from the News and Current Affairs Department here at the Renaissance Communications Incorporated. At this point, we join Erin Dodo, who will bring us the world of sports here on the program News Desk. Good evening, Dodo.
Good evening, Johnson. Good evening to our listeners. Welcome to the Sports and News Desk. Second Division club Blackman Warriors pocket $10,000 if they emerge as champions of the Liberian Second Division League season. The Warriors are second on the LFA Second Division League table with 16 points, 2 points behind leader Shatter Angels. The money is a pledge from former footballer and renowned businessman Prince Walker. Walker played in the Liberian League in early 2000 with the Fund United Soccer Ambassadors. He is the chief executive officer of the Prince Walker Group of Companies. Speaking to the team after a 2-0 win over Bash FC on Tuesday, Walker, a member of Blackman Warriors, told the management he was impressed with the team performance and attitude exhibited by the players during the match. He encouraged the team to keep the spirit of togetherness, noting that with unity they will keep winning. He also made available $200 to the players. Pius Doro finally managed to put an end to his goal drought by scoring for Nima United in their 1-0 win over Mate Impost on Tuesday, according to Liberia Sports International. The winger, who had not scored a goal in 6 previous games for United since joining from Ganta or Mate, was happy to help the team grab a first, which was their second of the season from 7 league matches. Doro has been a regular for Nima United this season, clocking 640 minutes on his belt. The goal, however, was Doro's first in 7 matches, and he expressed his belief after the game that victory helped United to increase the points to 7 from 7 games. And just before we go, the European Champions League is continuing across Europe tonight with Barcelona earlier defeating Shakhtar Donetsk 2-1 at home. It is currently Royal Antwerp 1, SC Porto 3. Manchester City are 2-1 up against Young Boys, while RB Leipzig leads Grosvenor by 2-1. Paris Saint-Germain have taken a 2-0 lead against AC Milan with 74-minute play. Newcastle are down at home to Borussia Dortmund after 71 minutes. Atletico Madrid is settling to a 1-1 draw against Celtic with 71 minutes also been played. Feyenoord also defeated Lazio by 2-1. While Johnson has the latest on our sports desk.
Having bought Truth 96.1. If you're just joining us, here are the top stories we are carrying here tonight. Liberia's People's Party of Councillor Tawan Ganglu endorses opposition Unity Party's candidate Joseph Barker in the November 14 presidential runoff as Grand Bassa County Senator-elect Basanga Fini turns to a comment President George Precious month on the National Elections Commission to explain why it set November 14 as the date for the presidential runoff instead of the constitutional stipulated date of November 7. Mother of a stolen 1-month-old baby cries for help wants the Liberian National Police to assist her find the baby. And away from Liberia, hundreds of thousands of women and girls have been displaced over the past year in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, according to the BBC. Let's bring you this development on the program. Election Coordinating Committee Chairman Oscar Blow has called on the National Elections Commission to explain further why the commission said November 14 as a date for the presidential runoff. Article 83B of the 1986 Constitution said that if no candidate attains an absolute majority in the first ballot, a second ballot should be conducted on the second Tuesday following. Blow, speaking to State of the Nation Wednesday, said none of the candidates is prepared to file a complaint as stated in Article 83C, and as such, the Commission should have conducted the election on November 7, 2023.
Argentina was read by then Chief Justice Pepper. And Argentina is very clear that in the event where there's an announcement of the election results, and after the 7 days, if there are no complaints filed, then the second Tuesday comes into force. Are we clear? Yeah. Okay. Secondly, the court said in the event where there is a complaint by an aggrieved
party at the presidential level, then that provision in Article 83B that says the pronouncement of the result then shall follow the second Tuesday is frozen, meaning that if there is a complaint, then the complaint must follow all the steps laid down in Article 83C. And those steps include a hearing from a hearing officer. If the party is aggrieved, that party then has a right to file an appeal to the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners have within 30 days to hear that petition, and if the Board of Commissioners rules, and the aggrieved party also has the right to take an appeal to the Supreme Court. So the court said if there is any complaint, that second Tuesday is moot until the parties can go through all the processes outlined in Article 83C, meaning once there's a complaint, there is no counting of the second Tuesday until the case is adjudicated by the Supreme Court. A mandate is sent from the court back to the NEC, and in that instance, the NEC then sets the count the second Tuesday after the mandate of the Supreme Court. So we don't know yet whether there will be a complaint filed. Now the NEC has gone ahead and set the 14th. So they need to explain to Liberian people they are on an obligation to tell the Liberian people on what basis was the 14th selected. Well, we do not know yet whether or not there will be a complaint, because the 7 days for the complaint requirement to file has not yet elapsed. So this issue with the 14th, it needs some more clarity, because the Supreme Court is very clear that as long as there's a complaint, there's nothing to call run on a second Tuesday after the pronouncement of the results.
Oscar Blow is the chairman of the Election Coordinating Committee, there cautioning the National Elections Commission to explain further why the commission said November 14 as the date for the presidential runoff. A 1-month-old baby has reportedly been stolen in Dual's New Vision community on the Robert Field Highway. The mother of the child, Cynthia Vincent, and her fiance, Robert White, told Arasia News that the baby was allegedly stolen by a woman identified as Tonia Moba. Tonia Moba is currently in police custody at the Dwelson police station facing investigation. Cynthia Vincent further narrated that suspect Tonia Moba, who regularly called to check on the child, visited the house on Wednesday, October 25, 2023, but was later seen coming from the bush, claiming she went to attend nature.
Putting on clothes. One later military ago, I saw this girl coming from near us on a freeway, because she can always come from in front of us to the market way. I saw her coming from near us. One later my hair, I saw her. I said, but what you come to wait on it when you always pass the way you pass on that stuff? So all toilet and move back on the bush. I said, somebody really wait, can't say also sweet. I guess also sweet. She said, no, I eat. She said, well, let's go on the road, you go buy the box. I said, no, man. I come in plan, they get here, they get come and go back. I come in plan her head. She said, I go. I said, the boss already go ready to buy his temple. She starts not on the road, they go and sell me. And she said, that go, you're not eating. I said, all right, there go. I have followed her. All that time, the baby were in the room and the daughter were there. The other children were in the yard. Because I got another room facing into my room. I said the children were in the room there because everyone was to the first day. We warmed food, we ate everything. So the pizza lady were in the room, so the other girl had chairs. So that I said that they were in the room. So I just leave my little daughter in the room. I said I will be back quick. I said because one can stay on this. Took the 2 sacks of water. She go outside and the stove. I said I go outside. She go her way. I said I go my way. As soon as I got to the house, the lady asked me. She said, "Oh, into AC?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "You spent someone here for the ball?" I said, who was here for the ball? Who put the ball outside here? Who will come for the ball? She said, one of your friends here. She said, you sent her for the ball to go walk up on. I said, well, who put the ball outside here? So how will send somebody for the ball to go walk up on? I said that they were joking. So I put the water down and when I shut the door. When I shut the door, I don't only the door was not there. And I started asking the guy, I said, well, who the person, who the girl that came here? What different friend can come here to me? People can come here to me constantly, then who the friend? She got how the girl look. She said the girl black. That short girl, she black, she wore black dress. So I said, which direction she go with? She said she passed to my Russian area way around the Sunday market. I said, but yeah, she in the police hand. Yeah, because I called her, I've been calling her, she was not coming. So my player man called me and gave me the news about AC. That your friend I can come to you that she didn't want to make contact. She didn't want somebody to report there to say the business. I called her right away. I said, but ever since today, they think happy right away. I call you, you can't come. As she was walking towards me on the road, I carry her straight on the road and I play my shot. Everyone else.
We need the government attention because the child.
She's the mother of a 1-month-old baby who was reportedly stolen in the Dwazo New Vision community, and she was followed by the fiance, Robert White, there in conversation with reporters. The National Christian Council of Liberia is calling on all Liberians to maintain the peace and put the interest of Liberia above political parties or put as presidential candidates. The council, its acting president, John Bolu, further reminded Liberians about the civil conflict which destroyed the nation and left thousands dead. The National Christian Council of Liberia has meanwhile announced a 3-day fast and prayer for God intervention and direction during the presidential runoff. Well, folks, on that note, that's how we love to come to the conclusion of today's edition of the program News Vibes. We'd love to say many thanks to our writers, contributors, correspondents for making today's edition of the program a success. Just before we go, the stories that have the program. Liberia's People Party of Councillor Tawanganglu endorses opposition Unity Party's candidate Joseph Boaka in the November 14 presidential runoff as Grand Bassa County Senator-elect Besonga Fini turns to incumbent President George Weah. Pressure mounts on the National Elections Commission to explain why it set November 14 as a date for the presidential runoff instead of the constitutional stipulated date of November 7. Mother of a stolen 1-month-old baby cries for help once the Liberian National Police to assist her found the baby. And away from Liberia, thousands or hundreds of thousands of women and girls have been displaced over the party in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo amid fighting by more than 130 armed groups, according to AfricaNews.com. Many thanks to Maya Tobian, who control the camera, and Kobo Sanga, who started control and produced the sound. My name is Johnson Bantoma. I presented. Good night.
When it comes to communication in Liberia, Orange is number one.
Orange is the best. Orange is the best. Oh, Orange is the best.
Orange is the best.
Strongest network, widest coverage.
Orange is the best.
Fastest internet speed.
Orange is the best.
People, Orange is the best. Yes, Orange is the best. Nagatama, what is the woo? Company Guinea, that's the Iboga Orange, Topaga number 1. So we need
Company is my Orange, I don't got it best.
Orange, we want you that telephone on.
Reliable, trusted, and dependable.
Orange is about 7.
Yeah, Orange is wrong. Orange is the best.
It's all about what matters to you. Orange.